I never thought that a simple evening could upset everything. I thought I was in control of my life, but that night proved me otherwise. Alessio, my husband, insists on taking me to the town fair. It is an annual event, full of stalls, colored lights, and the sweet smell of cotton candy that fills the air. I'm not particularly enthusiastic, but I decide to make an effort. After 5 years of marriage, our relationship seems to have flatlined, surrounded by a routine that suffocates us. Perhaps a different evening could help us find some of that lost lightness again. Alessio seems happy, more carefree than usual. He strolls through the stalls with a smile he hasn't shown in a long time. Even if inside me I struggle to feel the same enthusiasm, I try to enjoy the moment. Then, among the crowd and the lights, my gaze falls on an attraction I have never seen before, the Monster House. The sign, decorated with disturbing images of grotesque creatures, seems to evoke childhood fears. Despite an initial hesitation, I agree to enter. Perhaps that unusual experience could reawaken something dormant between us. As soon as we cross the threshold, darkness envelops us like a thick blanket. It's not the usual attraction with animated puppets and recorded screams. Here, the atmosphere is charged with a disturbing, almost real tension. Fleeting shadows move at the edge of vision. Distant whispers mix with disturbing background music. I shake Alessio's hand as we advance along the route. Every now and then, a sudden flash of light reveals monstrous figures watching us with dull eyes. I laugh nervously, seeking comfort in my husband's presence. Then suddenly, I stumble. The floor seems uneven, and in an attempt to maintain my balance, I lose my grip on his hand. I call him, but no answer comes. The echo of my voice seems to dissolve into nothingness. Panic starts to creep up on me. I reach out in the dark, trying to grab something, anything. I repeat his name with greater urgency, but around me there is only silence. I advance with uncertain steps, my heart hammering in my chest. Then, a hand grabs my arm. I jump, my breath caught in surprise. The touch is strong, sure. I let myself be guided through a narrow passage, reassured by the feeling of having found my husband. Yet something doesn't add up. The way he holds me is different, more decisive, almost impatient. Maybe it's just the adrenaline of the situation that makes me doubt. At a certain point, we stop in an even darker corner of the house. I try to see his face in the shadows, but I can't see anything. I feel his breath warm and close. Then, without any warning, his lips meet mine. The kiss catches me off guard. It's not like the ones I exchange with Alessio out of habit. This is ardent, profound, full of a passion that seems to have long since vanished. My body reacts instinctively. My heart speeds up as I reciprocate with the same intensity. My hands slide down his back, squeezing him with an urgency that makes me tremble. Overwhelmed by a whirlwind of emotions, I feel lost in the darkness that seems to erase every inhibition. Who is really the man I kissed? What if it wasn't Alessio? Find out what happens next. Time seems suspended, but it only lasts a few moments. A sudden flash of light, probably part of the attraction itself, illuminates the figure in front of me for a moment. My blood freezes in my veins. The man in front of me is not Alessio. I remain paralyzed, unable to move. The stranger looks at me with dark, penetrating eyes, a mixture of surprise and complicity painted on his face. I take a step back, my heart pounding in my chest. I try to formulate a question, but my voice breaks in my throat. The man doesn't answer. He just smiles at me, an ambiguous smile, then turns and disappears into the darkness again. I remain still, short of breath. The world around me seems to have stopped. How could I confuse a complete stranger with my husband? The thought overwhelms me, making me feel dirty, guilty, traitor. The monster house is still in darkness, but I have to get out of there as soon as possible. The need to find Alessio again and distance myself from that unspeakable mistake becomes more and more urgent. With my heart in my throat, I make my way towards the exit, my steps uncertain but determined, as if only the external light could bring me back to reality. When I finally reach the threshold, the artificial brightness and the sound of light laughter from the crowd hit me forcefully, abruptly bringing me back to normal. Outside, everything flows smoothly, oblivious to the storm boiling inside me. I frantically search for Alessio among the people and find him sitting on a nearby bench, calm, serene, totally unaware of what has just happened. I approach with hesitant steps, trying to hide the turmoil that is devouring me. When he gets up to welcome me with an affectionate gesture, an arm around my shoulders, the familiarity of that contact makes me sink even deeper into remorse. The secret that I now carry inside me is a boulder, an unbearable weight that I don't have the courage to confess. I can't tell him the truth, because I can't make sense of it either. In the days that followed, the thought of that night never really leaves me. Every time I look at Alessio, the sense of guilt grows, while the image of that stranger continues to torment me. The memory of the kiss, of the touch, of the electricity of that forbidden moment creeps into my mind with unexpected force. I try to suffocate it, to bury it under the daily routine, but I can't. The face of the man I met in the monster house resurfaces in the most unthinkable moments, populating my thoughts more than I am willing to admit. Who is? And why does a part of me feel the inexplicable need to find it again? Alessio continues our life together as if nothing had happened, unaware of how much that episode has upset the fragile balance of our marriage. Every normal gesture, every word exchanged with the usual naturalness amplifies my inner torment. The distance between us widens, invisible but present, fueled by a silence full of secrets. About a week later, normality is broken again. I'm shopping at the supermarket when, turning to take a product from the shelf, I see it. Him. The stranger from the House of Monsters. He's a few steps away, with the same mischievous smile I saw in the dark. My breath catches in my throat, and my heart begins to pound in my chest. It's real. It is not an illusion or a mind game. It's there, in the middle of an ordinary environment, almost reminding me that what happened cannot be forgotten. Our eyes meet for a moment. He seems to recognize me, and his smile becomes slightly more subtle, as if to confirm a secret understanding. I feel paralyzed, as if time has stopped. I don't know whether to run away or pretend not to see him. Reality and memory become confused in a vortex of contrasting emotions. After that meeting, any attempt to ignore what happened was in vain. He is real, and he has come into my life again. But what does all this mean? Is it a sign, a warning, or an opportunity that destiny is placing before me? The thought of seeing him again terrifies me, and at the same time attracts me in an inexplicable way. Alessio represents the safe refuge, solid and stable love. Yet something dark and seductive stirs inside me, a call towards the unknown that I can't suffocate. I'm at a crossroads. Confessing everything to Alessio would mean risking losing everything, facing the consequence of my actions. But being silent means carrying with me a secret that will continue to dig inside me, insinuating itself more and more into my life. An impossible, yet inevitable choice. And you, what would you have done in my place? Follow reason or give in to temptation? Write it in the comments. If you are passionate about this story, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next story. It might surprise you even more